This is Orphie and Magus, clone of the legendary soldier, genetically engineered for peak performance. Solid Orphie works as part of Oval Squad with Captain Magus. This isn't really a joke, that is her backstory. I'm in a box. How does he say it? I'm in a box.
What's in the box?
Are you looking to save money on top-ups? You should be using LD Shop. This is a top-up service for Zenlesszonezero, Genshin Impact, Honkai Star Rail, Wuthering Waves, any gacha game of your choice. It is safe and reliable. You can save up to 22% off for your top-ups and get a 15% off coupon for signing up with my link below. You can also get an additional 5% off coupon. If you spend $80 in 1 month, you get a free Internaut membership. That is LD Shop with my link in the description below. Are you saving money? You should be saving money. So yeah, Orphie and Magus are Fire Attack Agent. They are a off-field aftershock DPS support hybrid. Oh boy, yeah, we're getting complicated. We got multi-role characters. It's orphan time. So her core mechanic is this thing called bottled heat. This is the meter under her HP. She has a meter under her HP that is accumulated while she attacks, much like every other character in the game, but this one is hers. It is named bottled heat. Additionally, Orphie will fire off an aftershock every 5 seconds while she is off field. The type of aftershock can either be special or EX, depending on how much energy she has. If Orphie has over 60 energy, she will consume 30 energy to use an EX special aftershock attack instead of a special aftershock attack. Both of these attacks generate 20 bottled heat, so her generation of bottled heat is consistent either way. But the one that does not consume energy technically means that you could consume that energy with the manual EX special attack, which also generates 20 bottled heat. Additionally, her chain attack and ultimate also generate 20 bottled heat. Now, that's very complicated, but let me try to break this down, all right? Orphie and Magus are going to be primarily played as support characters. You want to keep them off field so they can use aftershock attacks. You can switch into them to use a manual EX special attack, as well as her aftershocks. Make sure you are not switching to her too frequently. You switch to her too frequently, she may not have the opportunity to use an aftershock attack. This is not a joke. I've seen footage of people just swapping to her too frequently and her never getting to attack, which is impressive, but you have to be aware. You don't always want to swap into her constantly, but you do want to swap into her regularly enough. Think Bernice, more or less. Maybe you think Yuzuha? Yeah, let's go with think Yuzuha. You guys like Yuzuha? I like Yuzuha. She's pretty cool. Basically, every action you can do with Orphie and Magus will generate 20 bottled heat. When she has 100 bottled heat, she can consume 100 bottled heat to apply zeroed in to the entire party. These names, please, simple, please. If I was in charge of writing these descriptions, they would be so much shorter. And I'd use keywords, they would be so much shorter. Oh my God, please hire me, Hoyo. Please contact me at this email. God. I will also throw this out there. The maximum amount of bottled heat Orphie can store is 125. Don't ask me why. It really should be 120 or 140. There's no reason for it to be 125, but it's 125. All right, take it or leave it. All right. I don't know what to tell you. The extra 5 might be useful. Never. Doesn't do anything. Whatever. So yes, when you consume 100 bottled heat with her hold special attack, zeroed in is applied. Zeroed in increases agent attack by up to 700, depending on Orphie's energy regen rate, and causes teammate aftershock damage and Orphie's aftershock damage to ignore 25% of the enemy's defense. I will clarify this for anyone wondering. Def Shred and Def Ignore are the same stat. One is a debuff, the other is applied on hit, but they are the same stat. I don't want to hear any confusion about this. They are calculated the same way, and they are calculated together. additively. The duration of zeroed in is 12 seconds from the final hit of Orphie's. The hold special attack animation can go up to about 3 seconds, making the duration of this buff 15 seconds by default. It is extended for an agent when that agent uses an aftershock for 4 seconds. The buff does not get extended for the entire team. It is only extended for the agent who uses the aftershock. So characters that will get full uptime from zeroed in are Anby and Trigger. Everyone else will be working around that 15 seconds. So this means aftershock characters like Anby, Trigger, and Orphie herself will have stronger synergy with this buff, and other agents will not. But this does not specifically mean that Orphie is only useful with aftershock characters, but it is certainly her most compelling use case. The other thing we need to talk about is Seed. Seed is not an aftershock character, so timing when Orphie's buff is applied is pretty important. You want to make sure that whenever you're going in for your highest damage moves, like Seed's ultimate attack, or even stun, that Orphie's buff is up during that time. You don't want to have it too early, you don't want to have it too late. So you will need to manage it. The other part of that is that the defense shred is only for aftershock attacks. It's not for every attack, so it doesn't so Orphie's support applications do not benefit all agents equally, which is frustrating. It's definitely frustrating. I will also throw this out there. It is technically more damage on Orphie to use the manual EX special attack when it is available instead of just the automatic one, because the energyless aftershock plus the manual EX is technically more damage than the automatic EX at the cost of field time and potentially delaying your next aftershock attack. So it's not a one-to-one comparison, but you should keep it in mind, or keep in mind that spending resources on Orphie manually is not a bad thing. It's actually quite good. Her skill level priority is as follows: special attack, then chain attack, then assist, then basic, and you don't even need to level the dodge at all, ignore it. Like, comment, subscribe. We're gonna try to do more Zenless content. More Genshin content is coming. Did you know most of you watching are not currently subscribed? You should subscribe. So it's time to talk about engines. The engine comparison gets a little bit complicated because different engines have different energy regen stats. This is important to mention because Bellicose Blaze, her S rank limited engine, is an energy regen main stat. To get the maximum buff from Orphie, it is an energy regen main stat engine, energy regen slot 6, and energy regen 2-piece. Energy regen slot 6 is non-negotiable. You should always have it. Energy regen 2-piece with energy regen main stat might be more negotiable, but we'll have to see on release. To play it safe, have a 2-piece energy regen ready. It is okay to not be capping this buff because Orphie herself does damage, and you're effectively tanking a bit of her damage when you are not using a good engine, which is why after Bellicose Blaze, we get to talk about Heartstring Nocturne. Heartstring Nocturne is actually very good on Orphie. It's a bit complicated, but it's actually very good. Despite not being an energy regen main stat, it ends up being pretty similar. After that, I do want to talk about energy regen main stats. So none of the other attack energy regen main stat engines actually have a passive on Orphie. So there isn't really a difference between Kaboom the Cannon and Drill Rig. So you might as well use Kaboom the Cannon because everyone should level Kaboom the Cannon. Why would you level Drill Rig? Huh? Why would you do that? Just use Kaboom the Cannon. I'll also throw out Metanuki Morphosis as an energy regen main stat with higher base attack. Yeah. Other engine options that are available are both of the event engines, Gilded Blossom and Mercado Desire. These are more personal damage focused than buff focused, but they synergize very well with Orphie and give her stats that she can use. There's also the Housekeeper, which just gives some ER. I would personally use an ER engine before Housekeeper. It's not that bad. Okay, let's talk about drive discs. We already talked about main stats. It's gonna be ER slot 6, basically always. Slot 5 can either be attack percent or fire percent. And slot 4 is going to be crit rate, attack percent, or crit damage. Any of the above, depending on what stats you need. Now, regarding sets, I'm actually going to talk about 2 options. Her best in slot is technically Astral Voice, with a caveat. You need to be able to stack it. So Astral Voice is going to be primarily useful in teams with Astra Yao. If you are not familiar, the reason we're not using Astral on Astra is because Astra is a support agent. She can use the new set, which means Astral Voice can go on anyone else, and we can get 2 support sets working together. This is new tech. So Astral Voice Orphie, it's legit. The catch really is just that you need to stack it. If you cannot stack Astral Voice and maintain it, that's where we talk about the traditional set, which is Shadow Harmony. Shadow Harmony is the highest personal damage set you can use on Orphie. It does not have the support utility of Astral Voice, but you're increasing Orphie's damage more. And that's really it. It also makes her a bit easier to build because it gives crit rate. So yeah, generally speaking, it's going to be Shadow Harmony, but for really min-maxed runs and min-maxed teams, Astral Voice. Well, that's basically the entire kit. That's literally the entire character. So I guess we should actually talk about, what do we talk about here? Do you need Orphie for Seed? If you are playing Seed with a limited attack agent like Soldier Zero Anby or Evelyn and you enjoy that, no. You can argue whether or not Seed is much of an upgrade in those scenarios. Where Orphie is a massive upgrade for Seed is when you're playing the random Bozo like Neko, Billy, or Soldier 11. If you like playing Seed as your main DPS, and that's the gameplay that you jive with, yes, I would recommend picking up Orphie. Teams that I would recommend with Seed are going to be Astra Orphie or Trigger Orphie. If you do not have Astra or Trigger available, just play Nicole, bro. Nicole is unstoppable. Will you get the performance bump you're maybe looking for with Orphie and Seed? Maybe, maybe not. It's a bit more complicated than you probably want it to be. A lot of the DA buffs give exclusively electric damage bonus, which Orphie can't use. Orphie also isn't hitting enemies for weakness when Seed is, which is also a little frustrating. And definitely a factor for why Orphie may not do as much damage in the scenarios where you'd want her to do more damage. It's a bit of a strange choice to make Orphie fire, I'll be honest. Maybe there's a fire aftershock DPS coming in the future? I don't know. We'll see. But yes, that is how I would recommend playing Seed Orphie. Food for thought, or worth noting, Seed's attack buff only applies to active agents. So switching into Orphie to use the manual EX special attack is very worth doing, but reminder, don't switch to her too much. If you switch to her too much, you will be delaying her aftershock attacks excessively, and she will not be doing as much damage as she could be. Regarding element match, you can actually play Orphie as her own DPS, and it's better than a lot of people give it credit for, or than a lot of people think. I don't think people are giving Orphie the credit she deserves. If you play something like Orphie Astra Lighter, it's pretty good. And I like that you have the option to play your limited character as a DPS, and it's pretty good. Not like, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. Underappreciated team. Underappreciated use case for Orphie. This also means that you can play Orphie with any fire DPS who isn't attack to activate Lighter's additional ability. So if you play Ben, or if you're interested in Monato, Orphie may not be a bad pickup. So you can play Orphie, Ben, Lighter. Yeah, let's also talk about Orphie as an aftershock DPS support. Currently, our only aftershock DPS is Soldier Zero Anby, or Anby. Yeah. Come at me, bro. Anby. So Anby is getting buffed. I kind of have to assume they're going to make more of Anby's damage be considered aftershock to get better buff utilization from Orphie. But as of now, Orphie's very good with Anby. She should be better than M0 Astra. And more comparable to M1 Astra in Anby teams. So if you really like Anby, Orphie is really something you should be considering. Or if you want to play, I hate playing future speculation impact here, or future zone 0, and pretending there's a character coming that we don't know about. They could make more Aftershock DPSs, and Orphie can be very good with them, but we don't know if any are coming. If you want to gamble, I guess you can speculate on it. Food for thought, Lighter released 2 patches before Evelyn and reran 2 patches after Evelyn. The gap between Lighter's initial banner and rerun was the same distance from his DPS being released. Orphie will probably follow a similar pattern if there is a DPS released for her. So maybe don't stress about pulling her on the first banner if you are unsure. But Orphie's kind of goated. B teams, it's either going to be Astra Orphie or Trigger Orphie. Obvious, I know, but I got to mention it. If those characters are not available, you're going to play Nicole. Whoa. 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 Yeah, I know, right? Did you know Anby and Seed teams are the same teams? Did you know? This is why I talked so much about the possibility for Anby buffs, since they are confirmed. And why? You saw the last video. This is why I talked so much about it. Mindscapes, I don't care. They exist. I don't care. All right. You guys deserve a little bit of an explanation on her Mindscapes, okay? Her M1 makes zeroed in, apply 20 damage bonus. This applies to the entire team, including Orphie. So it's not just support, Orphie is also doing some more damage. Additionally, Orphie will ignore 15% of the enemy's fire resistance with her attacks. Yes, M1 is quite solid. If that's what you wanted to hear, yes, her M1 is good. Her M2 is also very good in a way that I do not like. M2 is Orphie receives 65 decibels when she launches an Aftershock attack, and increases her own attack percent by 20% for 45 seconds after her ultimate. You know what would be really cool? If characters just had functional decibel economies at M0. Orphie shouldn't only be ulting twice without M2. She should be ulting 3 times like a real character. Come on. I do not like them monetizing decibel generation. I think characters should just be more functional by default. Don't like it. Bad precedent. And I don't like it on Lucia either. I don't like it on Seed. I don't like it. Make these characters more functional at M0. Stop monetizing decibel generation. Ultimates are important. That being said, Orphie's ultimate is actually kind of trash. So the complaint is a little hollow here. But whatever. I'm complaining about it anyway. You can't stop me. M3 plus 2 all skills. This is 10% more damage. Pretty simple. M4 increases the base duration of zeroed in to 16 seconds. Because it's from last hit of the special attack, it's 19 seconds technically. Additionally, the damage of Orphie's special attack and EX special attack see 40 damage bonus. Yeah, it's quite good. M5 plus 2 all skills. This is about 9%. M6 is a lot more damage on her hold special, which is cool. But it's an M6, I don't care.